great to be here. Thank you, everyone, for organizing and inviting us. And I promise this will be 10 minutes at most. Won't hold you from lunch. Do we have slides, or should I just wing this? Welcome any pictures that anybody wants to connect with me, or else my social media team will kill me. But, okay, so here's what we do as a firm. We're focused on institutional investments and linking crypto to banks, hedge funds, and other institutional players. Our thesis has always been either this is going to be picked up by institutional players and distributed as such to the masses, or it would continue to be a very interesting thing between my friends and my friends in the Silicon Valley, here in Singapore, Hong Kong, and Dubai. So I'd like to talk with you guys about institutionalization and securitization of digital assets, right? This is truly the future. And we think, why is this the future? Because you have about like $70 trillion in equities and $19 trillion in debt, not to let alone illiquid assets like real estate that can all be tokenized and can all become digital assets. So here's what, if you don't believe in me, this is what's happening in the world, right? We're now looking, investors are looking to the US to see where is this going, because China banned cryptocurrency for like, what, the 7th or 8th time, and the price didn't move as much. We saw Jeremy Powell and Gary Gensler not go against Bitcoin and really do a push for ETFs, or exchange tradable funds, which is an opportunity for institutional investors to touch Bitcoin and have an exposure for that. You're probably going to see ETFs coming out in the US in the next 3 months, right? Now, what we're seeing, if you don't think that institutional investors are looking for tokenized assets, in the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the chairs are here in front of this piece of the slide, but it's fantastic. We now just crossed $51 billion in futures of Bitcoin, which is a growth of 236% since last year. Interestingly enough, hopefully all of you here hold Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has been growing annually at an adoption of 113%. The internet in 1997, when it had more or less the same age or adoption of Bitcoin, was going at 63%. If we fast forward this track, we're going to have about 1 billion users of Bitcoin by 2024 and 4 billion users by 2030. That's a lot of people, right? If you think about it, we're seeing countries which are the biggest institutional players adopting Bitcoin. El Salvador just adopted Bitcoin. We estimate that about 50% of the population are already using a crypto wallet that holds Bitcoin, where only 30% of the population owns a bank account. This is a massive revolution of assets. We have about 1.7 billion people in the world that are unbanked, right? And 1.1 billion people hold a mobile phone. Imagine when those two things converge, right? We're having remittances. Most of you here have bank accounts, but people from developing nations do not have bank accounts or are sending money across to their families. We're seeing the remittance market, which is a market of $689 billion, being tackled by a whopping over $500 billion of that money being remitted to developing countries. Imagine if that is done through Bitcoin or other securitized assets. Now, the other side of the world, right? Institutional players, people I speak with on a daily basis. We're looking at about $400 billion of institutional money under AUM. Today, that's about 1% is being allocated to digital assets and tokenized securities. Now, a lot of people are looking at this and saying, well, there's a good amount of money being printed and inflation is on the horizon, right? Who here believes inflation is on the horizon? Some people might believe it's transitory. Some people might believe it's going to crash the economy again. But here's what I have for you. If you think inflation is coming, what is the best way to hedge against that inflation? If we think about Bitcoin versus gold, Today, where Bitcoin is ranging around 50,000, 55,000, you call your number wherever you look at your screen, we have a better correlation of Bitcoin against inflation than we have of gold. And this is fantastic because today, Bitcoin represents about 9% to 10%, depending on how you calculate the market cap of gold. Raise your hand if you think Bitcoin is going to go to 100,000, right? When Bitcoin goes to 100,000, that's going to be 17% of the market cap of gold. Now, tell me if you think that that's an asset that's going to be able to disappear. When people think Bitcoin is dead, some institutional players that go talk to banks in the US are like, or our friend at Chase, our friendly CEO say, Bitcoin is worthless. How can Bitcoin be worthless if when it hits 100,000, it's going to be almost 20% of the market cap of gold, an asset that has been around for thousands and thousands of years? So this is a little bit about what we educate hedge funds and institutional players with. Would love for you guys to take a download. You can use the book, the STO book - Whoa Dubai, all in caps, and you can have it for free. You can share it with your friends. If you want to go and buy it, it's on Amazon. It's only $1. Why? Why it's only $1? Because we want people to be educated. I want you guys to leave here and talk to your institutional players, talk to the people that don't believe that this is a revolution, that digital assets are here to stay, that this is the way of the future. Thank you very much. Let me see if there is my contact information here. You can follow me on LinkedIn or on Instagram at 7cc Invest. I would love to continue the conversation, and I won't hold you anymore away from lunch. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Please give it up again to Alex Nascimento.